welcome back. It's Christine again with the Artist Pod. So the free transform tool is incredibly useful. I use it all the time. 9 times out of 10 I use it for simple things of just resizing, but you can actually use it for other things as well. So let's get arting. So the free transform tool, you're going to get to it by coming up here to edit and then down here to free transform. And what's going to happen is when you select it, it's going to surround whatever your selection is. So before you do it, always make sure you're on the right layer. So if there were different parts of this, it would only surround the part that it's currently adjusting. But there's not, it's all one thing. So that's edit, free transform. Now, usually I'm just doing simple resizing. So if you look at the corner, you can see how my mouse changes. And if I just take it and drag it, it makes it smaller or bigger. And that's a quick way to readjust something. You can also, what I love using it for when I'm doing mock-ups is making sure it's centered. Now the move tool does this as well, but it's a little bit more inconsistent than free transform specifically. And so I love taking free transform and just making sure that I am centered on my image. Whenever I'm done drawing one of these, the last thing I do is I make sure that it's centered once I save it as a PNG. Now for a shirt, you would trend up, but for normal compositions, not as much. So we're going to leave it right in the middle. If you wanted to flip it around or do something else with it, if I hold the shift tool, I can actually, squish it in or come in that other way. If I don't hold anything, it preserves the original shape, but if I hold that shift tool in, it changes that shape in. But you can see I can still drag by the corner, and then I can change if I'm going higher or wider. So, or you can manipulate those individually, but I have to hold the shift key to do it. By hitting enter, you accept the whatever you've done. But again, I have that history brush, so if I don't like it, I can just come back. Now, you can also mirror it, so if I hold shift, I can bring it over, past itself, and back, and it's reversed. Right? So now the light source is coming from the right side instead of the left. The entire line's reversed. So that's something else that you can do with that shift key down. You can also do, if you're working specifically, if you're trying to make a floor or something in perspective, if I hold the control button down, I can come up here and manipulate individual corners. Right? So I can actually come in here and make it look like the perspective is turning it almost flat. Right? I can manipulate all these. I can have it doing weird things. I'm mindful if I'm trying to make it look like a floor that, the lines remain straight. That will help me. And you can kind of do it however extreme you want. Just bearing in mind if you do it too much, it will start to distort, obviously, and sometimes blur, but you can do something like that and make the perspective look like it is going away from you. Doing that actually is really useful when you're doing something like chest tiles. I did these tiles flat, like the background first, and then I manipulated them using that free transform tool to get them in the perspective. On something like this, I can just do it flat and then flip it. Perspective's easy enough, but doing chess boards, there's a lot to it. So I just find that a quick and easy way to do the chess set. So yeah, you can do, and you can make it look a lot of different ways, right? I can make it look like it's flat and against like maybe a wall or something else here. All of that's capable with the free transform tool. And then I'll often, if I'm sizing to a shirt, I'll take off the black. In theory, it wouldn't be there. Pop it on, and I can also, make sure where it lines on my pixels, right? Like I typically come down one set of pixels on a shirt, so it's not right at the top. They don't print at the top anyway, but I use the free transform tool for all of that because this is showing me the very top limit of where the image is. So just something you have to be aware of. If ever you're trying to use free transform and it's grayed out, I'll show you. Right, like I wanted to manipulate the lion, but I didn't realize it wasn't there, and I come here, you can see it grays out when the layer I'm on is not active. So that's particularly useful, especially if you're, if I'm in an actual Photoshop file. And let's see, I want to manipulate the gray of his face, but it's off, and I don't realize that. If I come up here to do that, you can see it's not there. It won't let me unless my layer is active. And then once it's active, I can, do whatever I want to it. And I can come back up here to free transform and change it however I want to change it. And do all the cool things that you can do with free transform. If I come up here, it kind of snaps in place. You can see it when it lines up. It's lining up to the highest most point of the drawing and the farthest right point of the drawing, so it can also snap that way. It'll show you when you're in place and it kind of snaps in, unless I want to change it. I can also use my arrow keys to move it if I don't like that placement. If it's snapping and it won't give me the freedom I want, like right now I'm actually trying to move it to the right a little bit and it won't let me, so I can actually just use my arrow keys and it works just as well. All right, so that is how you use free transform. I hope that was helpful. In the floating nether next to me, I have some other videos of art tutorials I've done. So I will see you all soon. Thank you so much. Take care.